LimeVibe ความแลกไว้ Lime ความแลกไว้ Vibe LimeVibe ความแลกไว้ Lime ความแลกไว้ Vibe LimeVibe โอ้ LimeVibe
Good night, everybody, and welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, the glorious one, Yori Araman Kemp from Nassau, Bahamas, along with my co-host, Ms. Kimberly Ramkalama from Trinidad and Tobago. How are you doing tonight, Kim?
I'm doing well, Yari, as best as I can, as I usually say.
Yes. You always do well. You're always doing well. Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a busy day for you in Trinidad.
We have Saharan dust ongoing right now, and we just got word on the newscast that there's a second case of monkeypox just one day after our Ministry of Health recorded its first case.
Oh, wow. So you think it's spreading quickly?
I'm not too sure. It's the first case in Trinidad. And I think from what reports have said, it was someone who traveled recently. And I'm not too sure if the person is a local or if he is a foreigner.
Oh, okay.
Sample was taken yesterday and sent to CARPHA, which is the Caribbean Public Health Agency.
Oh, you gotta be careful then, because you gotta be very, very careful.
But yes, though, it's someone younger. It's a young male, so it's a young adult male, and yesterday was a middle-aged male.
Oh, wow. So that means they could be anywhere in Trinidad. You know, they could have traveled anywhere, Men typically move around more than women do, don't they, right?
But
So they could be anywhere.
yeah, with someone with some travel history. And well, that this is our first case, I think, since last year when the World Health Organization spoke about it and America started recording its cases. But they said the virus actually ranges in severe illness, and it usually happens through very close contact. I know I'm not saying it, but I've heard that it spreads through sexual contact, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I thought it was just skin to skin.
Skin to skin, I believe so. So they said it causes symptoms where you get a rash and lesions across the body, which can usually last 2 to 4 weeks, up to 2 to 4 weeks. You get swollen lymph nodes and muscle aches and back pain. So they're telling anyone who has similar symptoms to contact your local health clinic nearby as soon as possible.
Yes, please do, because we wouldn't want that spread around the Caribbean. This is a real serious issue, that monkeypox, man. And we had a case, we had a reported case, we had it under control. That was about 6 months ago, right?
Right. So that was one case in the Bahamas back then, right?
Yeah. I think Barbados recorded the first case in Caribbean, didn't they?
Yes, they did. But it doesn't seem, you have to have close contact, right? So I believe that we should be somewhat safe.
But they have a 0.4% fatality rate, They said out of 57,000 people that have confirmed to have monkeypox, only 22 have died. So it's not, extremely fatal, I think COVID had a higher, much higher fatality rate than monkeypox. But before we go on, I have to say this. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube and our Facebook page. Please like, share, and subscribe to LimeVibe 77 on YouTube and Facebook. Please, really helps us out with getting the message out there. We're seeing our YouTube community growing. They're inching in ever so slightly. So please help us out with that, and subscribe to the YouTube and the Facebook page. And also there's a donate link in our description. So if you want to give anything to the LimeVibe podcast, please do so. We would greatly appreciate it. Anything that comes from the bottom of your heart, from $1 to 1,000 to 1,000,000. We hope you can do 1,000,000. But please, let's help us out there, please. So Kim, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the World Health Organization up to July 4th says they've recorded something like 88,000 cases around the world. It's only been recorded in about 112 countries around the world, and about a total of 149 deaths in the globe. That's according to the World Health Organization. their updated info as of July 4th this year.
Okay. Yeah, this Nation Journal I'm reading is pretty old. This was back in September 2022.
Right. Yeah. So it's been there since then, and we're seeing it. But I don't think you have to worry about it too much.
No,
I don't think it's that. Only if you're in contact with someone.
I think everyone's been on high guard since COVID-19. They saw how easy it was for people to really catch COVID-19.
Yeah.
Everyone's on guard for that. So be very careful. I back at our church, we went back to no touch. What do you call it? Greeting of the peace. In my Baptist church. I have two churches. I told you that, right? I have an Anglican church and a Baptist church. Where the Baptist church went back to no touch, no contact during the greeting of the peace. And so we have to wave now to everybody across the aisle, because we've heard that COVID-19 is being increasing here in the Bahamas, but the authorities have not confirmed that. Okay, we asked directly, but yeah, so we gotta be careful. My pastor said it from the pulpit, man. I was wondering if he really meant that. I was saying to myself, my pastor wouldn't lie from the pulpit.
Yeah.
Be misinformed.
I had heard that there was a church convention about 2 weeks ago, and my sister-in-law, they attended, and they said there was quite a good bit of the congregation that was sick.
Really?
Now they came down with the virus, but they tested negative.
Okay, good.
Most people tested positive for COVID, and that's a scary thing. We've gone back to large congregations. We've gone back to large gatherings. We still do have to keep our guard up. I still wear my mask, and people ask, why are you all wearing your mask? Me, with my immune system, I still try to wear it as much as possible, because I need to protect myself. I'm not taking it for granted.
Yes.
Now,
So
yeah, you have to do what you need to do to protect yourself. I still have the practice of sanitizing my hands. That's one thing I've done for years prior to the pandemic. I've always been one since a teenager, walking around with
You're a germaphobe, Kim? You're a germaphobe?
Yeah. We've always walked around with sanitizer bottles since a teenager. For some, I guess because I'm a person with sweaty hands, so my hands are clammy, and I'm always feeling conscious of it feeling a bit dirty and gritty. Okay. So sanitizer was my saving. I found myself near to water and soap.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I take care. Me personally, I don't like this hugging and touching anyway. I always shy away from the hugs and the touching and the handshakes if I could. If someone handshakes me, that's fine, but some people, they want to get right up underneath you, like I don't like that kind of stuff, man. I'm not a sock puppet, I don't hug like a sock puppet. So I always kept myself, at arm's length from people when I greet them. They say it's not intimate, but yeah, I'd rather be safe. And now we've seen my paranoia has been borne out during the COVID-19 pandemic. Don't touch me, man. Don't get too close to me, man. Now we're getting back in this thing where people are right behind you inside the grocery stores again. My God, man. They're right behind you in the grocery store. They're inching up right behind you. Give me some space. We just had this entire process where they say 6 feet apart is okay. Even 3 feet apart is okay. But then you're still right behind me. The cash register is not going to run away. Give us some space, please, man. My God.
Yeah, especially I've been to the supermarket, and I've felt really uncomfortable. I've moved up to the front of the trolley, thinking trolley some good length space. I feel necessary to come up closer because I've moved up. I would like, please respect my personal space.
And sometimes you have to tell them back off a bit,
Yeah, and they think you're rude.
Yeah, they think you're rude. That I don't want you on top of me. I don't want you touching me. They think like you're standoffish, But no, I do not want you on top of me. I had to tell a guy inside the store. It was about 4 months ago. He just kept on bumping me with his flipping the basket. Just kept on bumping me back. I say, listen, if you bump me one time, I'll haul off and I'm gonna punch you in your face, man. Of course, we laughed about it. Right? We laughed about it, right? But still, though, because that wasn't that serious, right? We just kept on bumping with the basket. I mean, my God, man, this place is big enough for us to share this space. You don't need to be right on top of me, man. Stop it.
Rather immature, I think.
Yeah, man. You know, stop it. You don't need to be around top of me. Anyway, Kim, let's get into the news though, because we could go on and on about how our personal pet peeves really drive our paranoia and our fears and our and
Um,
our yeah.
we're seeing some movement in Venezuela. We had CARICOM last week,
Mhm.
right? Where all the leaders gathered and they spoke up for Venezuela before US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken.
Mhm.
They've been quite vocal, calling for the sanctions and embargoes to be removed because
Yes.
they believe it's hampering energy security in the region.
Yes.
So, and now a few days later, we saw Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Motley. She took a visit to Venezuela, where she was greeted by Nicolas Maduro on Saturday.
They're BFFs now, Kim.
They,
Motley and Maduro, they're BFFs.
they just stop around the world. She's been to China in the last month, and
Mhm.
now in Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah. She's a busy woman, man. She's in high demand. You know, and that star is not dimming anytime soon, man. You know, everybody wants a piece of Mia.
Yeah, everyone is trying to curry favor with her, I think.
Yeah.
Maduro praised her
Mm.
for her stand against the Bretton Woods institutions and for her
Of
take
course it would.
on new financial architecture. Everyone's seeing her as a champion of this,
Mm.
that they would benefit from it. I'm not sure how Venezuela will.
Yeah.
They
Maduro is grasping at anything, man. Maduro would grasp at anything to get some relevance, to make him seem as if he's on the side of the people. He, for some reason, in his mind, I think, and these are these despots thing, he thinks that by him speaking, he's going to have this like global shift away from the United States' system and for political philosophy, more to in line towards what he thinks the world should be. That's how these despots thinking. That's how they think. They're really crazy people, Kim. And you know, you have to be a real psychopath to be a leader in any event. And him, he's on the other spectrum. You know, he's way on the other spectrum. He's you know, given up on any semblance of democratic process in Venezuela. You can see by at least 7.2 million people have already left Venezuela over the last 2 years. You know,
and I
doing
mean,
so well. If people love you so much, if you saying all these glorious things that people, you know, should gravitate around and really rally around you, why are people leaving Venezuela in droves? I mean, 7.2 million over the last 2 years, Kim, 7.2 million. I was just reading a report by the UNCHR. That's the United Nations Council for, let me get the right thing. The United Nations Council for for immigration. Let me see. Sorry, blah, 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 blah. There's the United Nations. No, not that, not that. The United Nations. I just now read the bloody thing. Oh, yeah. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the International Organization of Migration. You know, they did a platform. They said 7.2 billion people have already left Venezuela since 2014. I'm sorry, 7.2 million, and 6 million of them are in the Caribbean somewhere. That means probably a million in Trinidad right now. Kim, can you believe that?
I don't doubt it. I know authorities have been downplaying it and have not been upkeeping the registration process for them coming in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's saying that you're not doing anything. We're seeing the influx of them. They're taking over a lot of our spaces.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's breeding criminality, Kim, because these refugees, they are at the mercy of whatever the first person they run into in these countries. And they're at the mercy of the criminal gangs in Venezuela. So how could, you know, our leaders, you know, how can they go there and really sit and talk to Maduro when you see all of these men and women just being abused and taken advantage of, you know, Kim? You have to be careful who you stand beside you, not because someone gives you a plane ticket to come and visit a nice exotic place you should go. You have to think about these things in the long term, man. And no one should be calling for sanctions to be lifted off of Venezuela until Maduro shapes up. There's a sensible election held in Venezuela. You know, a sensible, free and fair election held in Venezuela. You know, I don't care how many of our leaders go down there. You know, the United States should not lift the sanctions on Venezuela. Not the way we've seen the people leaving the country in droves. Kim, sorry, you want to say something?
I'm seeing that, you know, everyone, and this is what Caribbean Magazine Plus covered yesterday's edition.
Mm-hmm.
When we spoke about Mia Motley visiting Barbados, visiting Venezuela, we also spoke about the diplomatic relations both Venezuela and Barbados has shared
Mm-hmm.
the last 54 years, so they say.
Mm-hmm.
However, but this only got reinvigorated since 2018 when she came back into office.
Mhm.
She tried to form some kind of reconciliation between both nations.
Mhm.
There is a position that you see with most Caribbean countries.
Mhm.
They try to be very diplomatic and politically astute, as I said, and that there is a non-interference in the internal affairs of Venezuela. You've always heard our Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, saying he's not going to take a side with
Yeah.
the or Maduro. He says we're going to stay away. And this is the diplomatic role that most Caribbean nations have taken.
Mhm.
You're seeing the turmoil, and this turmoil is affecting your country. We've
Mhm.
always had this saying that when your country, your roof is on fire, douse your own, so yours don't catch a blaze as well.
Yes, 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 yes.
Venezuela has been in turmoil for the last decade after the death of Chavez,
Mhm.
and seen things, deteriorate under Maduro's control.
Yes, and there's been reports that he actually is the head of a criminal gang, an international organized criminal gang. I mean, that's been reported. The Sun, the I forget the name of the gang, the something of the Sun.
Mhm.
Yeah, my friend from Venezuela told me the name of the gang. I even reported on it inside of Caribbean Magazine Plus. Just can't remember. Yeah, he's in charge of a criminal gang, you know. And we're going there, we're pretending that we're being diplomatic. Sometimes you have to sound for the moral right, you know. And that's why, people like us in the media and the influencers out there in the world, we need to say these things outright, because while leaders, they have their position, it's up to us to actually guide them towards the right channels to go to, because no one should be going to Venezuela in the way the country is right now. You're not even safe to go to Venezuela.
Exactly. Despite, I mean, I know that they have their entourage and everything.
Mm.
Why are you going there? Aren't you? God forbid you
Yes,
something.
exactly. Anything can happen, man. So, I mean, no one should be going to Venezuela, especially not standing up next to them, because whether they realize it or not, even though they don't want to take a position, actually going there and taking pictures like your pally, buddy is actually taking a position.
It is. To me, it does. You can say what?
Mm.
It does not augur well for any country. You
No.
you have to stand strong.
Mhm. If there's no intervention, don't if it's no intervention, don't even go. And send another diplomat to meet him, or let him come and meet you at a neutral place. Like you're going to a conference in Latin America. If you want to meet him, go and meet him at a conference in Argentina or something like that, But you don't go there like you're being invited like a guest, like your BFFs.
Because
That's not what we do.
I think the last conference he attended was something in Latin America, and it was in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He was there. It was the Organization of Latin American States. Some Caribbean leaders were there.
Mhm.
I think Guyana's president, of course, they would be there. However, I'm looking at it, and the way I see it, I've seen the trend. Whenever you see that vice president show up at your door, that's Delcy Rodriguez,
Yes.
that something big is going to happen, because she kind of paves the way.
Yes. They
Like,
really use her, don't they? Delcy Rodriguez. Oh, she's such a character.
I look at it and I say, it's like, okay, well, this is what you have to say. I view it as this. This is the conversation probably go down. This is what you have to say. Don't say this term. Don't, she's like the prep person.
Yes. She's like really a really strange character in all of this right here. And maybe she's the power behind this, or maybe she's the brains behind Maduro. Could be. I doubt it though. Oh yeah, it's called the Cartel of the Sun. The Cartel of the Suns. And he is the alleged mastermind,
Wow.
along with his Minister of Defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, and Chief Supreme Court of Justice, Michael Moreno. And there's several other guys right beneath him that are alleged to be a part of this Cartel of the Suns.
So this kind of begs to differ. Do they have enough evidence to be brought before the International Criminal Court or something like that?
Right now it's just allegations. I think, and this is what really ticks me off in the United States sometimes. They wait until these things in Latin America and the Caribbean reach their critical mass before they do anything about it. Right now, it's not really affecting Americans. and it's not really affecting Biden, he'll get up on his soapbox and he'll say, "Oh no, Maduro's wrong," but he won't actually do anything about it. They're going to dither for a while until it really hits critical mass. Then they're going to decide, "Oh yeah, we need to probably label him as international criminal." I think that Trump has tried to, though. Trump has tried to label him, but I guess that's as far as these gotten with regard to these sanctions in the United States. That's a good first step. We just don't jump all the way to the International Criminal Court with any old thing. It had to be really concrete. Maduro would have to commit murder, outright cold-blooded murder, for that to get to the International Criminal Court.
They have some sort of things, but it's just hearsay, I believe.
Yeah, just hearsay. But the reports coming out of Venezuela. This my friend Armando Amas, he is a former congressman. And he's living in exile now in Italy. Actually, he's still a congressman, but he has had to leave Venezuela like most of the other people. And he's living in exile. He's waiting to return to Venezuela anytime soon, but he can't return because the last time he was there, he was actually arrested, and his family was arrested last year sometime as well too. So he's been on the run for the past 2 years now. Then he's been giving me information. So there's a real serious situation, man. Real serious situation in Venezuela. And you really shouldn't be going there, but the difference between Venezuela now and Cuba now is that Cuba has really gotten into the groove of being what they are. They're not belligerent against the United States anymore. Yeah, they get up and they Miguel Diaz, he may get up and say something across the way about the United States, but it's not really that belligerent kind of, oh yeah, we're trying to really blow up the United States the way Castro was, right? So that's a bit different now in Cuba. So I can understand us trying to lift the sanctions off of Cuba, because really and truly, the sanctions really, really hurt Cuba more than anything else. Venezuela may be able to get by if Maduro would act more sensibly and decide he's going to pump oil and actually, lead at least a semblance of a halfway decent presidency, but he doesn't want to because he's an all-out, criminal. So, and Miguel Diaz Canel, that's his name, right? Canel, yeah, he's not that. You could tell he's a long time politico that grew up in the communist faction of Cuba, and he just rose through the ranks. That's a good old Cuban boy,
Yeah, that's how he appears. I know he had a meeting with CARICOM members in Barbados last year. Not so.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
So it's good. We do business with Cuba. We have quite a good bit of their nurses in Trinidad specialize in health services. They are one of those nations that have a good health service, a good health sector that usually looks through. I know former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, he did his heart surgeries in Cuba and often visited for his health. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. I always wondered how they did that, because without having US money coming in, US currency, they've been able to keep their health system running efficiently, and they've kept some semblance of having that working. So it's just like, I guess there's life after the United States, You really don't need the US, but I wouldn't go that route for any country though, Once the United States is there, use them, because they're there for everybody. And speaking of the United States, you see how much they've been dropping the ball. Let me give you an example. In the editorial we wrote for Caribbean Magazine Plus yesterday, and a story also ran the Caribbean Magazine Plus, it said that China, is prepared to spend up to $20 billion on a transoceanic railway from China to Honduras, from one country. One country, China, is about to spend $20 billion on a transoceanic railway from China to Honduras. They're not even sure if the railway is going to work, Kim. It sounds so out of your mind, $20 billion for that, and you're not even sure if it's actually going to stand up, because it's Chinese engineering, right? So yeah, they're going to spend $20 billion on that. But in the meantime, Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, was in the Caribbean just recently, and she they get dug in her back pocket. They give $100 million for everybody for climate change and differences, all this kind of stuff, right? And most likely that money has strings attached, right? So now you see why China's winning the war. The United States has gotten so stingy, man. China would come in here and drop $100 billion on one resort in Barbados right now. But Kamala Harris came with $100 million to share with me for something they did, for something countries like the United States did. We're in this climate change mess because of them. And that's all you come up with for $100 million? Really?
China has contributed quite a good bit with their coal, using their
Yes.
country still. So the biggest contributors remain America and China. So I
Yeah.
guess they're trying to get that. They all say the nice terms. Hey, we're rooting and doing our part to pay our bills and our dues for climate change that we have caused. Yes, we
Mm.
know we have some responsibility.
Mm-hmm. I know. I know. But still, though, United States could do better than that, you know. And, we should have felt insulted. She came with $100 billion. We should have felt insulted, man. You know. But
Uh,
you have to be nice. You have to be nice to your guests, right? But she knew better than that. You know, $100 billion for the entire region for climate change. When you've seen what happened with Dorian, you've seen what happened with Irma and Maria, you've seen what happened.
yeah, I think a lot more needs to be done. But whatever is done by either party, China or America,
Mm.
to look for the consequences. We have to look for the fine print, I should say.
Yes, yes, yes.
Written in the
Mm.
fine print. And sometimes you feel as though you're selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah, at least the devil come with a couple dollars extra, man. But I still would say this though: be mindful of China because we understand, we all know what they're trying to do, right? But still, the United States still is our greatest ally. But the United States got to do better than that, man. You're not enticing anybody with coming with pocket change to this region, and you know we need help. And, you know that's how you're losing influence because most leaders would not turn away $20 billion for a transoceanic railway. I'll tell you that. You know, China wants to build a railway from Beijing to New Providence right now. I'll take it. $100 billion. Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, build one. You know, build and reroute it through Miami, Florida, right back to Nassau if you could. You know, and that's how they make people think. You know, because money talks at the end of the day, especially after what the United States really dragged most of like Latin America and the Caribbean through during the 40s and the 50s and the 60s with the Cold War. You know, you have the problem of these dictators that really ran these countries brutally. You know, and you've retarded most of these countries. You know,
Mhm.
from Haiti to Chile to Argentina, you've retarded these countries, and now you're coming with pocket change after all the damage you've done with the United Fruit Company in Guatemala. This is really what we do. You know, Kamala Harris should have done better than that, man. She's my sister. I love her with all my heart. I really am proud of her. But no, man, don't come with $100 billion. No, don't do that again. Don't you do that again. Don't do that again.
It's going to take some time before something like that kind of project comes on stream, I would assume.
Yeah, they say in the next 2 years they're going to start off, but they say by 2030.
But if you think, I mean, that's a humongous project.
Yeah.
Across timelines and much more time
Across the Pacific Ocean, Kim. How you gonna run a railway? That's never been done in this world ever. I mean, they've done one through the channels before, the English Channel, and they've done one from France to from London to France. That they've done that, but never across a wide ocean that they're gonna have a transatlantic railway. Come on, this is unthinkable. It's craziness. You're not even sure it's gonna work.
It just goes to show that how they're trying to usurp their authority and their experience in technology.
Yeah.
I think that's their way of trying to, hey, we have the secret tunnel to the Western world.
Yeah.
Gotta keep eyes on China.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on China for true. You know, now we could see why by the countries in Central America are turning back. I think the only country left now that recognizes Taiwan is Guatemala. And that's not saying much.
No.
My goodness.
I would be playing a place as well because of the transshipment zone.
What you mean?
As in, a lot, if you want to get stuff cheap, you often go to Panama as well. And a
Yes,
lot
yes.
found like electronics and things like that.
Yeah. If you can get into the Panama Canal right now, because apparently it's drying up. We talked about that before. You know, the drought is really hitting the Panama Canal. But one thing I don't understand about this Panama Canal drying up, right? If it's a canal, that means it's connected to the ocean. Why don't you just let some more water rush in? We aren't running out of sea. You know,
Not sure why,
it's not a freshwater canal. It's definitely not a freshwater canal.
but the depth, and they're saying it has something to do with El Nino this year.
Hmm.
El Nino effect is the main cause for this.
I know, right? But still, though, Kim, we're not running out of ocean.
Natural depth in order to allow these big tankers and ships to enter.
But yeah, we're not running out of ocean, Kim. Just channel water from the ocean into the damn canal.
Yeah, I would think so, but I guess the civil engineers would know what's best.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, maybe it's too common sense for me, right? Yeah, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a fancy engineer. Yeah, I don't know these things, right? That's true. Okay, you're right. You're right. And probably is a good explanation for it. Now I've read up on it. I just can't, I'm just not sold that the Panama Canal is going to be in a permanent drought. I'm just not convinced of that. Not a canal that's leading to the ocean. When you really think about it, it's really absurd. But then we had COVID-19, so who knows? Who would have thought that the world would have closed down from COVID-19, Kim? Nobody thought that.
Need to find some way to shut off shipment to this part of the world, right?
Yes. You know, and maybe it's a conspiracy by the Chinese to shut down the Panama Canal, like how they had the conspiracy with the COVID-19. You know, you know, everyone knew it started from the those experiments in the Wuhan lab. So God knows what they're doing in Panama. Anyway, we're getting into the wild side now for the LimeVibe podcast. Let's not go there. You know. Otherwise than that, anything else happening, Kim? We talk about Mia and Maduro being BFFs. And they look so smiley, so cheerful, man. This picture I'm seeing. She looks so warm, you know.
She knows how to put up a front. I think that's the key to being a politician, right? You have to master the art of being diplomatic.
Yes, full of caca.
I don't think my prime minister has, because last week at the CARICOM heads of government, Chairman Roosevelt's carrot, Prime Minister of Dominica, made two jabs at our Prime Minister. And I paid attention at the opening conference when he made his statements and his comments. He thanked Prime Minister Rowley for hosting the event. But at the same time, he also said, I know he does not look that friendly. This is I know Prime Minister Rowley does not look that friendly, but he is friendly when you really, really get to know him. And that was the first jab at Prime Minister Rowley last week. And then at the closing press conference, he made mention of him and the comments that Prime Minister Rowley usually makes on Facebook against the West Indies cricket team. And he said, we're not going to get vexed like Prime Minister Rowley in that. Like we see what Prime Minister Rowley says on his Facebook. And he's just taking out his passion and his anger because he loves the sport, you know. But that's the way of teasing Dr. Rowley. And I took note of it. It's like, oh my gosh, this says how your rest of your compatriots in the region view you. Some kind of fear of you. They know, you know. So yeah. I mean,
he's been Aquarian by any chance? When was he born? He was born October. Oh, October, that's he's a Libra.
27th or the 28th, I think, is his birthday.
October, October zodiac sign. So that's
That's cool.
who it is. Yeah. That's a Libra, yeah. October 23rd, you know, September 23rd to October 22nd, he's a Libra. So yeah, so he does go on moves. I thought so, you know, because he looks like a moody person. Like one day he's really up and the other day he's really, really pissed off, man. You know, because I've seen him in different moods, and he does look cheerful sometimes. And then some days you could tell he's just really, really sour and pissed off, right? Like he hasn't eaten all day.
Time, right?
Pardon?
To me, he comes across as being like that, cross and miserable at most times.
No, most times. Oh wow.
Seen him happy or jolly, as if something in his hand in a cup.
I saw him dancing the conga line the other day.
Yes, and he had something in his hand, not so.
Yeah, he was liming. Yeah, is he a lime prime minister?
I don't get that impression, but apparently, you know, if he gets invited to a steel pan launch or something like that, he's present.
Oh, he likes a steel pan.
I mean, that's typical of all prime ministers.
Okay.
It is our national instrument. You're going to be present, upfront and present if you're having something like that.
I mean, aside from, does he really like the pan music? I mean, do you feel it?
I can't say. I know carnival season, everybody usually pays visits to all the panyards, and you know they're present for things like that. But
so I'll tell you right now, our prime minister, while he'll go to Junkanoo, I don't think he really likes Junkanoo. You know, he just goes there as a part of our cultural history, our cultural festivities, but to say like he really gets down, he goes to the shack and he pastes his costume and he'll get out there with the cowbells. If it's not for show, I don't think he really cares for Junkanoo that much. And that's fine. You know, you don't have to be, you know, immersed in every cultural aspect of this country.
Yeah, I know he plays carnival because they have photos of him actually playing mass in San Fernando, actually. So he's known to participate in carnival from time to time.
That revelry.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something else in Trinidad too. There's this very, very sexy and voluptuous girl. She's running for I think some council member, right? Or senator for the PNM. Am I right?
I'm not sure. We have so many. Right now, there is a local government elections is in air.
Yes.
Elections in a month's time in
Oh,
August.
this one's an Instagram model, man. She's voluptuous, man. She's on with bikinis on everything, and she's running for public office.
Yes, I think I saw that on social media. I can't recall her name, and I'm not going to share it either. It has brought attention on social media because they're saying,
Yes.
why are you looking this way if you're going to present yourself as a counselor?
Who says councilors can't look good, Kim? But she's sexy. I mean, she's a diva. Yeah, she's voluptuous, man. I'll vote for her. I'll campaign for her.
So people are questioning, that presentation of yourself outside.
Yeah. I see nothing wrong with wearing a bikini. You see something wrong with wearing a bikini, Kim?
No, I don't see anything wrong with that. But I just think it's how you present yourself,
Yeah.
That-
I mean, she's not popping her private parts out,
Yeah, if it's done tastefully, I mean, everyone lives their life,
Yeah, she's just out in a bikini and she's just at the pool. She just likes the pool and the water, Kim. She's not out there, doing sexy dances. She just, taking pictures of her beautiful body. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, it may say I think people are just upset because they're all sitting at home. They don't look as good as her, right?
No,
That would have people upset.
to me, the best looking politician in the entire region, I think of Lisa Hanna. She of
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's beautiful.
Jamaica, I believe.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Oh, she's gorgeous.
She is.
Some, I was saying they should let her be the leader of the opposition and get rid of that Golden guy because they'll surefire to win and they put the Hannah girl forward. I really believe that because people will gravitate towards it. Not only that she's beautiful, but she has a nice personality as well, And she doesn't have to be the prime minister. Just let her lead you into the election. She sounds like she's someone who people could actually trust and believe in.
I believe
She's
that's
going to be a great change from Dr. Phillips, Peter Phillips. Man, my God, when you put Dr. Peter Phillips next to Andrew Holness, there was no choice. I mean, you couldn't vote for Peter Phillips, man. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Honestly, during the election, I at one point in time I thought it was Lisa Hanna against Andrew Holness.
Okay.
I got the impression that she too was running for prime minister. She is quite vocal. She does quite a good bit for her constituency.
Yeah.
She is out there quite a lot. But
I think before we get too carried away too, we may just be seeing her out in the open. We may be really in there with them on a daily basis because I've seen some politicians here in the Bahamas, Kim, and they put up a good front. They smile and they fix them up real nice. When you talk to them, when you get them in an interview session, they're as dumb as a box of rocks. And most of the journalists here, but they'll tell you that, man, they're not worth talking to, man. And they pretty and they smile and they have their nice haircut, their nice hairdos, but they really don't have anything else to offer. She may just be a pretty face, she may be eloquent, but she may not have any ideas. But you don't need to have ideas to lead the party. Just be a good face, because that's all what is this? The PNP. That's all the PNP really needs, a good face that could stand next to Holness and really outshine Andrew Holness.
I think you should take in some of her contributions in their parliament. Listen,
Okay.
and you may see a different side of her.
But most of those contributions are written. I used to write speeches and contributions for MPs for cabinets before, Kim.
Able to debate, and you must be able to hold your ground to an extent. I don't think everything can be written when you really are debating in parliament. At least I know large parliament bodies like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago has a large parliament house. House of Representatives, we have 41. And Jamaica is much bigger than ours. You have to be able to be worth your salt and merit to stand in your house and be able to speak.
So you're saying she's sharp. That's good. And she really engages in the parliament. Okay, I'll take your word for it, because I don't really watch Jamaican parliament all that much. I actually don't even watch it at all, to be honest with you. So if you say she engages, I believe you. She engages. And that's all that's important.
Yeah. So I think she is quite sharp and brilliant. Perhaps in the near future, when Jamaica is ready to have another female prime minister, they will put her in position.
Yeah,
But
and they're not against a female prime minister. They've had Portia Simpson,
yes,
you
they
know.
all love her. I mean, she looks gorgeous and she seems like a people person,
Yes,
relatable.
she's gorgeous. But she may be a femme fatale, Kim. These beautiful women, they have problems, Kim. And she kind of brown skin too. Yeah, she may be a stuck-up brat. You're not sure.
There you go, judging people by the
By their skin color, right? Yeah. I sit in my high in my east throne with my crown of straw on, just judging people, me, beautiful me, right?
right, the fox calls the grape sour when it can't
Yeah, you can't get them. Oh, Kim, you pulling that one on me, Kim? That's what you telling me.
make those comments about women, especially when
Uh,
not getting through. Because I've been on the receiving end of that, sadly. A lot of men have made disparaging comments about me that are not true. They've said things, they've carried the rumors all over. And my friends who know me just like, no, we know Kimberly, she's not like that.
mhm, mhm,
They went and made these big extravagant lies about me.
mhm.
No. And it's because men couldn't come around me in that way. It's like you're not going to get through, so that's why.
Mhm. Yeah, they lie on you, Kim.
Yes, they do. They've
Mhm.
really nasty things.
I think they lie on you, Kim. Not you. You're a good girl. No one has to lie on you, Kim. But
Oh,
they
they
lie on the good people, though.
men do that, especially
Mm,
I've been on the receiving end of it. I'll
mm.
tell you that off there.
Yeah, but relationships are really deteriorating now in the West anyway. I've been watching a lot of videos back and forth. The passport bros phenomenon is a real situation, Kim. That's a real thing. These American men, they're really leaving the United States, going elsewhere for wives. They can't deal with the Western woman. They
Western.
can't, yeah, the Western woman. They can't deal with it. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much liberty, too much freedom. It's too much oppression of the black man and the man in particular. We don't get anywhere anymore, Kim. It's all being handed to the women now. And so what's happening now, the men are leaving. They're going to places like the Philippines, Thailand, Brazil, and other places in Latin America, get a foreign wife, a traditional foreign wife. They just can't deal with the Western woman anymore. And it's sad though. It's sad. And then Western women are now becoming bitter. They're becoming upset. They can't believe that their men are leaving the United States and Western countries looking for traditional wives who are feminine, who are respectful, and who will pitch in to the house.
I don't think it's
Tried there, haven't you?
like that. I mean, I know even Prime Minister Scarrett said they were talking about food import bills and reducing the food import bill. And then made a comment that part of the import bill was that was really high importation of eyelashes, nails, and hair.
Oh, come on.
That's like, I don't believe you really said that. And then our prime minister, who was sitting on his left, seemed to, he agreed.
Yeah, that's a low blow. You don't have to demean them like that. Just move away, man.
No,
You don't have to go there. You don't have to diminish them or belittle them like they're like eyelashes or anything to be made fun of.
yeah,
Beauty supplies is anything to be made fun of
no,
and made derision of. You don't do that kind of stuff, man. I don't like that. I don't like that now. That's pretty low because it mocks women.
it does. And I don't think we're taking up that much. Well, it should say something to the region. Maybe we need to open up our own business in manufacturing nails and hair and things like that. Perhaps.
I often think about it, Kim. I often think about this, and this is true. The money I spend trying to get LimeVibe, the podcast off, I should have invested that in bundles. Bundles and nails. Yes, bundles, nails, and eyelashes. I should have done that.
Agreeing that it is a money-making business, quite lucrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have women in my inbox every other day or on my social media, my WhatsApp, just looking for bundles, looking for hair. If I had any sense, I would have gone back in time. Instead of investing in the LimeVibe podcast, I would have invested in bundles and nails and eyelashes. I would have made a mint. I would have tripled my money by now. I could have 4 podcasts by now.
Oh dear.
Selling bundles. Brazilian Wave, and Remy.
I'm seeing that Dominica has gotten something like the Leisure Travel and Leisure's World Best Awards this year.
Mm,
They've gotten number one for the second year in a row, and
mm,
it's the islands in the Caribbean next to the Bermuda and the Bahamas.
okay, okay.
Right. So they're the number one island Caribbean destination for this year.
Mm,
It was announced yesterday.
mm.
So congratulations to Dominica and being
Yeah,
that.
they've come a long way from that hurricane, man. Come a
It is
long way. All the resorts are back open now. Yep.
know that they're quite touting that eco resort, nature reserve, uh,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and providing a number of activities that people would want to participate in those eco lodges and things like that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
providing a lot of going canyoning and hiking and diving. They even have whale watching. So they describe it as a haven for nature enthusiasts.
Yes. 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 And it's kind of exotic too. It's not so deep into the middle of the Caribbean like Jamaica and the Bahamas is. They're kind of like off there. So it still has that mystique about being on an island, a remote island somewhere. So yeah.
And
Do they
you
have 150,000 people yet?
what's that?
Do they have 150,000 people yet in Dominica?
Not sure. What's their population like?
Yeah, I'm gonna search right now. I'm gonna Google to the Googles, Kim, to the Googles. Dominica population 2020, only 74,000.
That's right.
73,000. Yeah. In 2022, 73,000 people. That's not a lot of people. You mess around, you may end up sleeping with your sister or your brother. Or dating. Yeah. That's too small for me, Ken. That's too small for any variety, you know.
Eleuthera comes in at 4. So you've got Dominica at number 1, Anguilla at 2nd place, St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands in 3rd place. Number 4 is Eleuthera in the Bahamas, St. Lucia, 5, St. Bart's number 6.
Mhm.
Right. The Exuma is coming at number 13, as well as
Too far down, man.
number 12.
Yeah, it's almost too far down. And
You know
speaking of,
that-
I'm actually going to Luther on Saturday, actually.
Right.
I'm going to Luther on Saturday. I'm going to an excursion to Harbor Island. I'm going to swim with the stingrays, Kim.
That's something I'm not too.
You know, you scared? You scared?
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
I saw a friend of mine, he runs an excursion company, a tour company, and he had some of his guests there swimming with the stingrays. I said, how do you get involved? I say, come along with us on Saturdays. I said, okay, let's go. So I'm going to swim with the stingrays, man. He said, well, let me be truthful. He said the stingrays are extra, but you know, the rest of the tour is pretty much where you get to see the turtles, swim with the turtles. Because the stingrays are wild, even though they come up to you, they are wild animals. So you got to be careful with them, right? I'm going to swim with the pigs in Eleuthera. I'm going to see the turtles, and so yeah, it's going to be an experience, man. I'm looking forward to my excursion on Saturday.
That's good. I'm happy to see that you're enjoying your island. It's nice when we can appreciate our own countries, our homeland.
Yes, yes.
Discover something new. There's something always new to discover in our countries,
Yes.
right at home.
Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. And enjoy while you can, you know. I can imagine how beautiful Trinidad is. The bush is there, you know. You have a lot of jungle, don't you?
We do. I'm not too keen on it, especially the hiking usually takes place on our northern range.
Mm,
And that is where the poisonous snake is.
mm,
See.
mm.
And I am not too keen. The only nearest hospital that has the antidote is the anti-venom is in Sangre Grande, which is northeast.
Oh, so you die before you get there.
So my husband and my dad, they've gone on hikes before and they've given me tales and stories about it.
Mm,
Right now it's rainy season, so it's not too safe to go climbing the mountains because of how wet. And you have landslides and floods along the mountains and hillsides.
okay, still kind of dangerous. Okay, that's fair enough.
But
You know
we
what
have-
this is though, Kim? Aside from Trinidad and the bush, I had a friend that was over there. She saw the savannah grass for the first time. I said, "Did you take any pictures?" She said, "No." I said, "Man, I want to see the savannah grass. I'm going to come to Trinidad soon, Kim. Honestly, I'm going to come to Trinidad, but also I'd like to go visit the Amazon basin."
the Amazon, just be sure to walk with that really strong deep woods repellent.
Yes, yes, yes. All the mosquitoes, right, and the bugs, and creepy crawly.
your normal repellent is not going to work.
Mm.
They're still brave enough to get through that really strong repellent.
They're the real mosquitoes.
And you're not going to even feel it when they do bite you. You're just going to,
Imagine.
it's
Just feel the
horrible.
itch. Just feel the itch. Wow.
I turned black. I think I mentioned it before how blue-black I turned from the mosquitoes there.
Then you're in Suriname, right? Yeah.
Because Amazon mosquitoes.
They're real mosquitoes. Yeah, I can imagine, Kim. I can imagine, you know.
Walk out the airport, you're going to get eaten a lot.
At least you didn't come down with malaria. That's good.
Well, you have to have your yellow fever shot before visiting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was kind of scary.
And one of my drugs is an anti-malaria drug.
Okay,
That might have also been my saving grace.
good, good, good. So you're fortified, you're well protected.
Perhaps.
Speaking of the Amazon, Kim, are you following the situation in Nicaragua right now where the government in Nicaragua is cracking down on the Catholic Church?
So that Caribbean Magazine Plus covered it on Tuesday.
Yes, yes. It's quite a shame though. I mean, you know, the Ortega government is going to come down really, really hard because you just can't go against the church, man. You can't go against God's anointed. You know, this Bishop Rolando Jose Alvarez Lagos. He was arrested by the Nicaraguan government, let go and rearrested again on very, very, spooky charges. No one really understands why he's been arrested. So that's the first situation. And the second thing was that the Ortega government has really cracked down on some sisters, some nuns, and he's confiscated their documents and their materials, and he's really confiscated some of their work that they've been working out of this place called the Sisterhood. Where the place was. Let me get the article up here. They've been working out of, where is it?
Sisters of the Fraternity of the Poor Ones.
Right. Oh, Kim, you read faster than me, man. You made me feel like an illiterate here. I'm the one that wrote the story, right? I just couldn't remember it. Yeah. And so, they've been cracking on the Catholic Church, man. I mean, what has the Catholic Church done to Daniel Ortega? But come to find out, Ortega, this is his second time being a dictator in Nicaragua right now. And so, he was one of those old Cold War, holdovers, the last ones that the United States got rid of, but then he came back on a popular vote 2 terms ago. Now he just won't let go. These people think they're going to live forever, Kim. He thinks he's going to be the president of Nicaragua forever.
I'm not sure if they see it as being a channel for money. If that's the sisters, aren't they linked to Mother Teresa's organization?
Yes. And they have connections all around Latin America as well, because I think right now they're in Costa Rica right now.
Right.
And they've landed softly, yeah. But then even so, it's a church, Kim. The church has connections. The church has a connection. They have a diocese that they liaise with. Of course, they have Rome that they have to talk back and forth to, and they get subventions and they get subsidies from the Roman Catholic Church. So of course they have a network, Kim. Of course they have monies coming to them. So what is Daniel Ortega up to? Unless he's really, really sensitive about them calling him what he is, which is a dictator. And the church is supposed to stand up against injustices when they see it. When you see the church against you, that's a rolling hill. That's a rolling ball down the hill. Once the church gets against a government, trust me, more likely than not, that government is going to fall in the next election or even before that. Because it's not just the power of God behind it, it's the people. They are involved with the church. Okay? Once you could take off a sizable portion of your country, it's very hard to come back from something like that, Kim. Very hard. Very, very hard. And they think it's just, preaching from the sermons from the altar and from the pulpit. No, they actually control people the way they think, and how they view politics. So, I think Daniel Ortega's days are numbered. We're looking at the last of him right now. I think he's going to have to become very, very brutal and very, very cruel for him to keep on power in Nicaragua after this. I can assure you that.
I think you also have to be careful with the church, because when the state falls apart, the churches and religious organizations are often the ones that help the people.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
They're often the ones, the first places of charity.
Yes.
Offering shelter and Nicaragua suffered some hurricanes in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that the churches have been the ones that have been helping rebuild and empower its people once again, get back its people on its feet. So it's really sad when a state comes after the church, and they really need to recognize their position in society.
Yes, 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 yes. And that's how these leaders, they go mad, Kim. These leaders go mad. They've been in power too long and they go mad. I would hate to see Raleigh win a third term in Trinidad because he just may go stock raving mad. He may think he's untouchable. You know? I realize why United States made this cultural and political shift years ago. And they said only 2 terms for your president, because I could see these guys just getting out of control.
Yeah.
See it, yeah.
That even with Prime Minister Manning, and that's why he lost office in his last term. So a lot of crazy things were happening with him in his last term, and it was scary. See that in most nations, you need to have a transition and a change in power ever so often.
Yes.
I agree with terms limit.
Yeah, I agree too. We've been toying with term limits here in the Bahamas, but they haven't gotten serious about it. You know, there's something that people think they want. And I think it's something that we should move to later on, but we have to get the political system to the point and the people to the point where they can appreciate what 2 terms for a prime minister or president is. And with the way elections are, the way the political system is that, you know, we are on the Westminster system and it's a parliamentary election. Yeah. So we just don't vote for president. We don't vote for a leader. We vote for a whole slate of people. Exactly. And so that's different. That's a lot different.
Under Kamala's regime, she was that was also part of her constitutional reform. She was looking for the popular vote as well.
Okay. So she wanted to be a president. So I mean, she was, yeah.
No, but the 2 terms limit was something on her agenda as well, to ensure we wouldn't have this kind of mad succession of power, you know, over a long period of time. And I think that's the safest route to take for all nations, for the sake of democracy.
I agree, you know, I agree.
I think any true democratic state needs to take that route when it comes to constitutional reform. Do it for your people. Do it for your nation. Don't be greedy.
Yep. And I think Barack Obama said it as well. Because he went to a conference years ago and spoke to some African leaders, and he said he can't understand why someone would want to be in power for years.
Entire lifetime.
For a lifetime. He just couldn't understand, why would you want to be in power for all your life? Yeah. He couldn't understand it. And you know something, it made sense. Why would you want that kind of responsibility all day? Why would you want to be there?
They're not really doing anything for their people, right?
No.
It becomes, okay, well, I have a safe seat here. I don't really need to fight for the people. I'm just, you know, holding on to something for my retirement, for my dynasty. Yeah,
for their children. And they just get greedy and greedier. And for some reason, in Afro-led countries, we've been getting, our politicians are of 2 shades, greedy on one end and also very selfish on the other end, you know. Those are 2 archetypes of political leaders we get here. Ones who are extremely greedy, who like money, who come from humble beginnings, but who just love money. And those who are selfish and self-centered and narcissistic. They love the adoration of the fans. Don't mind them. They want you to beg them to talk to them. You know, that's the archetype of the Caribbean and African leader.
Caribbean, yes.
Yeah. They love it. They adore that attention. And don't mind them shying away from the press. They want you to talk. They want you to chase them, you know. Just like a lover that dumped you. You know, I want you to chase me. You want me. You want me. Not me want to talk to you. You want to talk to me. That's what they are. I realize. I see that. I don't give it to them though. I'm very standoffish, you know.
If you've blanked me twice, if you said, okay, call me back by 4 p.m. and you've blanked me, and I said, all right, that's it.
Yeah. No story.
You're not that important.
No, we'll go what we have. And if it's wrong, well, we're gonna have to deal with it tomorrow, the day after.
Yeah, well, up to news time, they did not give us our comment. That's your fault.
Yeah. So let me lose it.
Part of the story. We're going to see it.
Indeed. I think it's best when you're just dispassionate about it too, you know, because I've heard, you know, journalists, you know, pulling up their, oh no, he's ducking me, he isn't talking to me. So what? He doesn't want to give you a comment, so you can't force him. Leave him alone. You know? And they feel so slighted and so upset. Oh, no. I can't get a statement from this man. You know, come on, man. So what? Who cares? Especially the politicians. Like, who cares? You know, write it on them anyway. You coddle them too much, you know. We coddle them too much. That's what's the problem. We coddle them too much. They're only flesh and blood like you and I. Yes, they have access to the resources, but they're only flesh and blood. God could take their breath any minute now, just like he would take your breath any minute now.
Definitely.
And you have a part in this country like they have a part in this country. And you play your part and let them play their part because God has given them the right and the authority and the blessing to actually be in charge. And to some, it's a curse. The ones who really care about their country, it's a curse to them, to be honest with you. I can imagine that. But God has given them that authority. And they could take their whole time to govern us. And God has granted them with that. So you have to have that respect for them. Otherwise, now they're only flesh and blood. They don't have a monopoly on all the ideas. Oh, Kim, that's us. Any final thoughts, man?
Just wishing you the best rest of the week. Today's Wednesday. It's hump day.
Yes,
So-
yes. Thank you so much, Kim.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we're sorry for not being on Monday because we told them last week, Friday, right? Monday was going to be the Bahamas Independence Day and happy Independence Bahamas. And so, yeah, that's it. So thank you again for joining LimeVibe Live podcast. Please, if you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube, LimeVibe77. That's LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. You're also going to see a donate link there as well. So please, anything that moves your heart to give to LimeVibe podcast, we really would appreciate it. Whether it's $1, $1,000, or $10,000. We really would appreciate it because it really helps us to keep the show going. So please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to LimeVibe77. So this is your host, Yuri Armin Kemp, signing off for LimeVibe, as well as Kim Ramkalawan, Kimberly Ramkalawan. And we see you again on what's Wednesday or Friday, right? We see you again on Friday, right, Kim? Friday. God bless you. Have a good night. Bye.